Welcome in. This is Chiefs Chase. My name is Mike Bassano, and thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me this week as we follow the Kansas City Chiefs chasing history, looking to become the first team ever in the NFL, the three-peat as Super Bowl champions. And my God, we are going to have so much fun this week. There's a comparison to Patrick Mahomes, a quarterback out there getting compared to him. It's sitting a little off with me, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, the 99 Club has been announced in Madden. Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, both rated 99 overall. And you know what? They've been rated 99 overall before, but we're going to celebrate it every damn time because I was there when Tyler Palko was taking snaps. I was there thinking that Tyler Thigpen might be a better quarterback than Damon Heward. Those were the choices. I was there when Brody Croyle came in against the Jacksonville Jaguars for his first NFL drive. I was in the stadium in Kansas City at Arrowhead before it was GEHA Field, long before that, before Andy Reid, before all of that. So I'm going to celebrate every single time we have a 99 overall Travis, 99 overall Patrick. Before I get to what Madden is and why it's frustrating, I do want to point out, I saw them open up their gifts from EA Sports, Travis and Patrick. They opened up their gifts. They look so happy. And that gold putter, that gold 99 putter from Patrick Mahomes, that went hard, man. That's a cold putter right there. I was so fired up about it. Now, Madden being a terrible game for the last 11 out of the last 10 years. It's been a terrible video game. Madden 20 with Patrick Mahomes on the cover, that one was actually a shockingly good game. The one with Mahomes and Brady on the cover might be the worst one they ever had, so I don't know what happens. But here's the thing. That game still matters. It matters so much. It's the only NFL game we have. And I think the biggest mistake was the NFL giving exclusive rights to EA Sports for the game. And I don't think that should even exist. Now, there's an old quote. I'm going to get real weird with it right off the bat, so roll with me on this. But there's an old quote. The quote goes like this. America doesn't have capitalism. America has socialism for the rich and brutal individualism for the poor. You know who said that? Martin Luther King Jr. The establishment doesn't pull that one out, but that's a true quote. And that's exactly what this is. EA Sports shouldn't be allowed to have exclusive rights. If this were true capitalism, you and me could get together. We could make a perfect video game for the NFL, and then it could go out to consumers. And then EA Sports would make a better game. Back in the day when Madden had to compete with 2K, it was the best we ever had it. And do you know why? Because competition breeds innovation. Competition breeds greatness. This socialist trash we have where EA Sports is the only one allowed to make an NFL game, no wonder it sucks. If you had, seriously, think about it. Think about it. Put yourself in EA Sports' shoes. No one else gets to make an NFL game. If you love the NFL, there's one game you get to buy and it belongs to EA Sports. Why would EA put any money into that? Why would they try to make a good game? No one else can make the game. No one else can use the NFL logo. They can't use anything. EA Sports has exclusive rights. So the only way to completely turn football games around, I played the NCAA game. It was fine. They really ramped up the offense in that game, which makes sense because they wanted people to have fun playing it. That's fine, whatever. This is about Madden. Until they're allowed to have rights across the board, until 2K is allowed to make an NFL game, we're not going to get a great one. But the 99 Club still matters. That gold putter went hard. I will step down from my angry soapbox. It's funny. Nothing really gets me that riled up, but Madden being such trash so many years and there being no repercussions, I want my restitution. Goose. I want my restitution. Hard Knocks is starting, by the way. We'll get to some more on Hard Knocks later. But the Chiefs, they had a roller coaster in the NFL Top 100. which was released by the NFL, voted on by the players. And we'll get to that here in just a bit. But first, there is a comparison rattling around the NFL right now to Patrick Mahomes. A shocking comparison. Rookie quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, has had some highlights out of training camp that people are talking about. He looks just like Patrick Mahomes. He's rolling around dropping dimes. And I'm like, really? J.J. McCarthy? And then I watched it. And I was like, I was there when Patrick Mahomes had his first training camp. I was covering the Kansas City Chiefs. I was in St. Joseph, working for 610 Sports Radio, hosting the morning show, and watching Patrick Mahomes at training camp. So I saw what Pat looked like in 2017. He was raw, man. He was raw. He was really talented. He had moments that made you go, holy crap. Travis Kelce saw those moments. That's why he became his best friend. He was like, hey, this guy, you want to be best friends? Yeah, he had those moments that showed you he had everything it took to be great. But he also was raw. He had a lot of mistakes. He made a lot of problems. His ability to sit behind Alex Smith was such a huge part of his growth and a huge part of what we see for Patrick Mahomes now. And I'm looking at that. I'm also looking at another thing that happened this week, which was Jaden Daniels from the Washington Commanders named the starter, second overall pick. This is the problem with the way the NFL is structured. They're killing quarterbacks. The NFL kills quarterbacks because there's so much pressure. You first get in the league, you're a rookie, they want to put you in right away, and they have some crap team with no offensive line, no weapons. Your quarterback gets destroyed, and all these poverty franchises are running around wondering, hey, why aren't we any good? Well, of course you're not any good. Look at what you have. You have nothing around this guy, and he doesn't know how to be a professional. Patrick Mahomes benefited so much from a year. Being able to sit behind Alex Smith, watch him, and not just watch him like as a player, but watch how he prepares. That's the number one thing that nobody talks about. Watching a guy who's already a professional prepare for a whole year and just watching him at 22, 23, 21, however old, early 20s. And you're watching somebody, you've never been a professional before. You get to see someone do it for a whole season. I think it should be a rule in the NFL that quarterbacks can't start for the first year. I understand how logistically impossible that is, but think about the amount of quarterbacks that could have been so much better. Baker Mayfield was wasted everywhere until he got to Tampa Bay. And that's because he was a very high pick, thrown into a situation that was just god awful. I mean, the sympathy I have for Baker Mayfield, or really any quarterback that becomes a Browns quarterback, except Deshaun Watson, for obvious, raper reasons. Sorry, sexual assault reasons, whatever you call it. The amount of sympathy I had for Baker Mayfield in that situation is so large. And I think about Patrick Mahomes when I see stuff like this. When I see J.J. McCarthy isn't ready. He's having flashes, and that's great. But you're going to put him into an NFL system and have him lead the team already? Caleb Williams might be ready for it. He might. He just seems like he has that kind of aura about him. Then Joe Burrow was ready for it. You have your exceptions to the rule. But even a guy like Joe Burrow would have benefited from sitting back and watching, I'll call it John Kitna. I think Kitna was retired, but you get what I mean. Another Bengals quarterback, Andy Dalton. Sit back, watch Andy Dalton for a full season. And I love how John Kitna was the first Bengals quarterback to come. Hey, listen, John Kitna was a cold man now. He had some nice moments. But imagine having that full year to sit back and really enjoy the game and learning process and getting to understand the game and the development and the preparation. It's huge. Patrick Mahomes had that, and I think it's a massive part of why he is so special in the NFL. Now that said, Patrick Mahomes, he's getting bulletin board material because some people don't agree with what I just said. We'll get to that in just a moment. I know it's a big story, the NFL Top 100, but first, I want to give Chris Jones his flowers, bro. I know we'll get to Pat being disrespected, but Chris Jones, number 6 in the NFL top 100. Travis Kelce also number 9. Chiefs had 3 players in the top 10. But Chris Jones being number 6 is finally, the rest of the league is understanding what Chiefs fans and 49er fans already know. Chris Jones is impossible to defend. And the reason I say 49er fans, when Chris Jones had the video of his reaction come out, of his reaction of knowing he was in the top 7 of the NFL top 100.
Definitely in the top 10.
Let's go! Am I in like the top 8? Am I in the top 7, bro? If you tell me. Let's go!
When that came out, I actually had the top comment on that video on Instagram because I said, as 49ers fans and Chiefs fans already know, Chris Jones personally is responsible for winning both of those Super Bowls. Go back and watch those games, the batted balls, the disruption in the backfield. The reason that the Chiefs have 2 Super Bowl victories against the 49ers, he made plays against the Eagles too, but specifically the 2 against the 49ers, key moments, key plays, changed everything. Chris Jones put 2 rings in that organization. 2 of them. He's a bad man, and he needs his recognition. And he got it. Number 6, I love it for Chris Jones, man. He's just that good. He's worth every penny, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, some of the responses I got to this, a lot of 49er fans were like, yes, absolutely. Chris Jones is underrated as hell. We think he's better than Aaron Donald. And they're in the same division as Aaron Donald with the Rams. So they were like, we think he's better than Aaron Donald. He is that disruptive. He's that dominant. He's that unstoppable. So they put him above a man who many believe is the best defensive tackle to ever play football. And I agree with them. A couple 49ers fans also said, no, Kyle Shanahan is directly responsible. Leave Kyle Shanahan alone. He made mistakes. Kyle Shanahan made mistakes in the Super Bowl. However, this guy went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo and a guy who was drafted dead last. I mean, I'm just saying. Brock Purdy seems like a really good quarterback. I like Brock Purdy a ton. But if you gave Kyle Shanahan an elite quarterback on that team, it would be a totally different ball game. We all know that. Andy Reid makes mistakes too, but 15 bails him out. We've talked about this on this show. The reason he got over the hump, it was he has Andy Reid. Andy Reid couldn't win the big one because he didn't have that elite quarterback that meant he didn't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? That's the big difference. You have an elite quarterback, it means you don't have to be perfect. Kyle Shanahan's learning that because he makes one mistake, whole world falls apart. That's the hard thing about not having an elite level quarterback who makes crazy plays. Now, it took Andy Reid that time. And when I say 4 Hall of Famers for the Chiefs, I want to clarify that because I think everyone knows Travis Kelce, first ballot, no question, one of the greatest tight ends. I say the greatest tight end to ever breathe air. Patrick Mahomes. He's Michael Jordan. We have Michael Jordan in Kansas City. That's a real thing. He's in the Hall of Fame. Chris Jones. Absolutely. Put him in there. And then the Chiefs' 4th shoe-in Hall of Famer, Harrison Butker. Just signed the contract to become the highest paid kicker in the history of the NFL. Apparently every boycott doesn't work, does it? I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. Say what you want, feel how you feel. I don't really care how you feel about Harrison Butker. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You look at the big kicks he's made in the postseason, he's right on par with Adam Vinatieri. And Vinatieri is eligible for the Hall of Fame for the first time this year. He'll be in. He's the only true shoe-in. I think Eli Manning also gets in. Probably Luke Kuechly. Marshawn Lynch has a shot, but definitely Adam Vinatieri. And I put Harrison Butker on the exact same level as Adam Vinatieri because the big postseason kicks, that's what got Adam there. Adam Vinatieri didn't kick some 78-yard field goal or something ridiculous like that. Huge kicks in major moments. That's what gets you in the Hall of Fame. Harrison Butker has won Super Bowls with field goals. Sup, Eagles? He's won AFC championships with field goals. Cincinnati, how you doing? How you doing, Cincy? We remember. Was it Joseph Asai that had the late hit, set up the field goal? Boom, Bucker hits it. By the way, that's in 1 year. So he is, in my mind, a shoe-in Hall of Famer for the NFL. The Chiefs have 4 of them. And congratulations to you, Harrison Butker, on being one of the greatest kickers in the history of football and being paid exactly as you should be. Now, social media it's an interesting take, but you'll follow me on this. Social media won the Chiefs a Super Bowl. It was a big part of winning the Chiefs a Super Bowl. I'll tell you that in just a moment and why I say that. But Patrick Mahomes got his ranking in the NFL Top 100. The Top 100, which is voted on by the players. Fourth? Are you serious? Fourth? We're sitting in a world where Patrick Mahomes is the 4th best player in the NFL. Tyreek Hill's number 1. Now, look, I could go the same route everybody else is going. Talk about how Tyreek Hill left the Chiefs, got traded away, and then Patrick Mahomes won 2 Super Bowls in a row without him, which makes Tyreek Hill be number 1, the dumbest thing ever. I could do that. I could, but I won't. I want to take this angle with it. Patrick Mahomes should make his own top 100. Yeah, start your own. Patrick Mahomes should start his own top 100 of the people whose careers he's ruined. Let's start it off. Kyle Shanahan, we've already discussed that. George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, the entire 49ers organization. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Jalen Hurts, Deshaun Watson. When Deshaun Watson was in Kansas City, playing his guitar after a touchdown, up 24-0 in the divisional round of the playoffs, the Chiefs hadn't won a Super Bowl in 50 years, and life was beautiful. Beautiful, Bruce Almighty. Everything was coming up roses for Deshaun Watson in that moment. The second that happened, his whole life fell apart. I'm dead serious. If you look at what Deshaun Watson was in that moment, from that point forward, his life went into complete tailspin. The Chiefs come back. Patrick Mahomes decimates the Houston Texans. With a special shout out to Dirty Dan Sorensen for helping to turn that game. Patrick Mahomes decimates the Houston Texans in beautiful fashion. And then, of course, the allegations and settling and whatever with the massages and the sexual assault and everything else. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. But allegedly some bad things happened. And now Deshaun Watson, he's on the hot seat. He has the most to prove this year, I think, of anybody, considering what he's getting paid and how he's been playing. Yeah, Deshaun Watson has every magnifying glass in existence resting on him. Now, I would love to see Patrick Mahomes create a top 100 of just like, here's everybody whose lives I've made miserable. The Patrick Mahomes top 100 people I've ruined. That's what I want. Because obviously the top 100 should have Patrick Mahomes at number 1 at all times. The fact that it doesn't is a travesty. Okay, cool, got it. Everybody knows that. Anybody with a brain understands that. But I want to take it a step further, and I might do it. I might just do it. I might just create a social media post where Patrick Mahomes, I just break down everybody whose life he's made miserable. The top 100 people who probably would have better lives if it weren't for Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill, would Tyreek Hill be on this? No, Tyreek Hill wouldn't be on that list. Tyreek Hill's life is much better because of Patrick Mahomes. Right? He got the major contract because of it. He's a great player, by the way. Tyreek Hill's a phenomenal player. He was great in Kansas City. Nothing but respect to him. He is not the best player in the league. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. All right. So, when I say social media won the Chiefs a Super Bowl, I got to tell you what I mean by that. Hard Knocks is starting this week. And I was talking with one of my friends, and we were talking about how players just don't have personalities anymore, not real ones. Real entertaining guys. You got a lot of guys who try to be entertaining, and that's social media's fault. Social media has taken away these true personalities. You watch the Ravens Hard Knocks, the original, with Tony Siragusa and Shannon Sharp looking for his restitution. Ray Lewis. Those were guys that had huge personalities, and they weren't really trying to be entertaining. They just were. They just woke up and they were entertaining, being their natural, authentic selves. Like Shannon Sharp still does that, by the way. I hated Shannon Sharp when I was a kid. So much, so deeply. I can't even tell you. Shannon Sharp, John Elway, hated him. He's probably one of the best people in media right now. Why? Because he's not trying to be interesting. He's not trying to be cool or funny or whatever. He just is entertaining. That's Shannon Sharp. That's who he is as a person. Now, what we have in today's world, because of social media, it's not the players' faults. I'm not calling out players or any shit like that. It's because of social media. These guys are just trying to be seen. They're trying to be entertaining. And that brings me to my point. It did help the Chiefs win a Super Bowl. When George Kittle was clip farming for Mic'd Up, trying to be cool, said, "Hi, George," trying to create clips, trying to get on TV, trying to be entertaining. He missed a fumble from Christian McCaffrey, recovered by the Chiefs. Maybe it wasn't the only reason the Chiefs won a Super Bowl, but it was a contributing factor. So, ex facto, social media gives the Chiefs a Super Bowl. That's the connection I'm drawing right now. That's the constellation I'm deciding to draw. But there is truth to it. These guys want so badly to be cool. They want so badly to be entertaining and have big followings because that's what drives things now. That's how people make money now. Look at Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce. They're seeking $100 million for their podcast. Travis got paid $20 million by Pfizer to do one day of work last year. Two things at the same time. $20 million. There's a reason why they're acting this way, but it was a lot more fun when Hard Knocks first started and these guys didn't know how to try to be entertaining. They were just being themselves. Camera came around. They're like, "Oh, look, there's a camera." They weren't used to having cameras all the time. There weren't cell phone cameras or anything like that. They were just living their lives, doing their thing, and they were entertaining. Tony Siragusa, are you kidding me? The Goose? Just go look up, like on YouTube, the best of Tony Siragusa, and enjoy the next 10 minutes of your life because you will not regret it. I promise you. One of the greatest personalities in the history of the NFL. The Chicago Bears are doing rough transition, but it's happening. The Chicago Bears are doing Hard Knocks now, and I don't know. Good for them, I guess, right? Caleb Williams. I hope Caleb Williams is so successful just because of how pissed off it's going to make so many people. Oh, he paints his fingernails. He's zesty, and he is zesty, and he does paint his fingernails, and he seems a little entitled. However, the storylines that will come from a Caleb Williams franchise quarterback will be so awesome, dude. They'll be so good. It's going to trigger so many people on all sides, right? Oh, I can't wait. I want the Caleb Williams arc. If he comes in and he's not good, I'm going to be so disappointed. I'll be so disappointed if he's not any good. And you know, there's a lot of hatred thrown around now for players that just didn't used to be there. I remember guys like Scott Pollard. We're jumping sports now. Hey, this is my podcast and do whatever I want. We're jumping sports now. I remember Scott Pollard when he was painting his fingernails, doing all the weird stuff. We didn't have social media then. Nobody cared. Rodman was different. Dennis Rodman was more in the spotlight. The Bulls were champions. It was a totally different thing. I don't know. I can't remember a time I've seen somebody get as much hatred for no reason as Caleb Williams. So I'm rooting for him. When I see somebody get a lot of hate for no reason, I want to root for him. I don't care about anything else. Like, I'm not saying, well, I don't like his painted nails. I paint whatever the hell you want. I don't care. I don't want to paint my nails, but guess what? Caleb Williams isn't telling me to paint my nails. He just wants to paint his. So when somebody gets hated on like that, and I don't feel like there's a legitimate reason for it, you want to hate on Deshaun Watson? Have at it, Hoss. But when you talk about Caleb Williams, he's done nothing wrong. People just don't like him. I tend to root for people like that. I don't know why. And we will end it with this. Thank you so much for joining me, but we'll end it with this. Travis Kelce met some fans. El Travador. Met some fans. We can't go an episode without at least mentioning Taylor Swift. I don't think it's possible. So he saw them, and we got another great Travis Kelce quote.
Look at this guy.
It's El Travador.
What you guys doing in my hallway?
Dude, you just took my wife's breath away. Like, literally, she just almost died there.
Taylor Swift effect.
The Taylor Swift effect. Apparently, that effect is when you go to the Super Bowl and win. So far, that's what it is. Taylor Swift has been with the Chiefs for one season. She's undefeated in Super Bowls, and that's all I care about, baby. Thank you so much. I'm Mike Bassano. This has been Chiefs Chase. I appreciate you so much for listening. Have an awesome week.